Have you ever thought about how the way you store your vegetables could be quietly affecting your health, especially if you're over 60? A lot of older adults make thoughtful choices about what they eat, trying to keep their hearts strong, reduce inflammation, and stay mentally sharp. But there's a hidden piece of the puzzle that often gets missed: how those vegetables are stored once they get home. The CDC points out that seniors are more at risk for foodborne illness and nutritional deficiencies simply because the immune system naturally weakens with age. And here's something most people don't know. Some vegetables lose almost all their health benefits when kept in the fridge, while others left on the counter can develop harmful bacteria. That's why, in today's video, we're going to cover 3 vegetables you should never refrigerate, and 3 that absolutely need to be kept cold if you want to protect your health and energy. Stick around until the end, because these small storage choices might not just improve your well-being, they might actually help safeguard your life. Let's dive in. Before we dive in, if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you hit that button and turn on the bell so you never miss another health tip made just for you. If you enjoy this video, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0 to let me know how I can make better content for you. 3 vegetables seniors should never refrigerate. 1. Sweet potatoes. For many older adults, sweet potatoes hold a special place on the plate and in the heart. They're not just food. They're a memory of cozy dinners, simple nourishment, and comforting tradition. And, nutritionally, they offer a lot high in fiber for smoother digestion, packed with potassium to help regulate blood pressure, and full of complex carbs that provide steady, gentle energy. They're the kind of slow-burning fuel that suits the rhythm of a body over 60. But what often goes unnoticed is that the way we store sweet potatoes can quietly turn all those benefits upside down. You might think tossing them in the fridge is harmless, even helpful. After all, refrigeration keeps many foods fresher, longer. Right? But sweet potatoes are different. They don't like the cold. In fact, storing them in the fridge can trigger a change in their structure that actually makes them less healthy. Under low temperatures, the natural starches in sweet potatoes begin converting into simple sugars. And when those sugars are exposed to high cooking heat, like baking or roasting, they can form something called acrylamide, a compound linked in multiple studies to potential cancer risk. So, something that starts out as heart-friendly and nourishing could, with the wrong storage, to become chemically transformed into something much less helpful or even harmful for your aging body. That's not the only issue. Either. The cold damages the internal structure of sweet potatoes. It breaks down the cell walls, which changes their texture, leaving them gritty or oddly dry inside. That vibrant orange color, the one so rich in beta-carotene for your eyes and immune health, begins to dull. And with that fading color, often comes a drop in nutrients. 2. What you're left with is a root that no longer lives up to its reputation. It may look similar on the outside, but the softness, the nourishment, and the integrity, it's all been quietly eroded by a week in the fridge. And here's the real challenge. Most people won't notice until it's already happened. The change isn't always obvious, but the impact on your health adds up over time. The good news is, this is entirely avoidable. Sweet potatoes are best kept in a cool, dry, and dark place, like a cupboard, a pantry, or even a basket away from direct light. That's where they stay stable, flavorful, and rich in everything your body still needs and deserves. It's not about fear, It's about returning to a little common sense and respect for food that was never meant for refrigeration. And if something as wholesome as a sweet potato can lose its power in the cold, what about other ingredients you may be storing? Without a second thought, there's one in particular, an everyday kitchen staple, that's just as vulnerable. But in this case, it's not just about chemistry. It's about what happens when warmth and moisture invite the wrong kind of guests. That's where we're headed next. In part 2. Garlic. Garlic has earned its place in kitchens and medicine cabinets for generations. It's not just seasoning. It's tradition, memory, and for many older adults, a kind of daily wellness ritual. Whether it's minced into soups, roasted with vegetables, or even swallowed raw, garlic is celebrated for its ability to support heart health, reduce inflammation, and strengthen immunity. But here's something few people realize. Putting garlic in the refrigerator can quietly take all of that away. At first glance, the fridge might seem like a smart choice. It's cool, clean, and keeps things fresh. Right. Not for garlic. Garlic is a dry, protective bulb by design. It was never meant to be kept in cold, damp environments. When you refrigerate garlic, especially whole and unpeeled, you interrupt its natural ability to stay dormant. The moisture and chill from the fridge trigger early sprouting. And while those little green shoots might look harmless, they signal something deeper, the breakdown of allicin. Allicin is the very reason garlic is so powerful. It's the compound responsible for its anti-inflammatory, cholesterol-lowering, and antimicrobial effects. It helps keep blood vessels flexible, supports circulation, and calms the kind of low-grade inflammation that contributes to heart disease, arthritis, and even cognitive decline. But when garlic starts to sprout, that compound fades. The texture becomes rubbery. The taste turns sharp and unpleasant. And most importantly, the healing properties are no longer there. It doesn't end there. Some people, in an effort to make things convenient, store chopped garlic in oil, often in the fridge. And while this might seem like a clever kitchen hack, it can actually be dangerous. Without proper acidity or preservatives, that combination becomes a perfect environment for Clostridium botulinum, a harmful bacterium that produces a toxin capable of causing botulism. That's a serious condition that can lead to paralysis and is especially risky for seniors with less resilient immune systems. So, the cost of misplacing garlic isn't just weaker flavor or misnutrition, it's potential harm. You lose the gentle protection that garlic offers your heart, joints, and immune system. And you may not even realize it's happening until symptoms show up months or years down the line. But the fix is simple. Store your garlic the way nature intended, in a dry, breathable place, like a mesh bag or basket, in a cool, shaded corner of your pantry. Keep it dry. Keep it whole. And it will stay potent. Still. Garlic isn't the only common kitchen item that reacts badly to the cold. There's another, one mild, versatile, and used in almost every meal that undergoes its own quiet transformation in the fridge. And when stored the wrong way, it can become more harmful than helpful. Let's move on to number 3. 3. Onions. There's a certain quiet rhythm to the way many of us cook. Over time, we stop questioning the small routines, how we prep, where we store things, the order we reach for ingredients. Onions, for most older adults, are part of that rhythm. They're always there, reliable, flavorful, the base of nearly every home-cooked meal. But what if the simple act of storing your onions in the refrigerator was actually undermining their benefits and even risking your health? At first, it feels like a harmless choice. Maybe you only used half an onion and figured tossing the rest into the fridge was the safest bet. Or perhaps you keep the whole bulb tucked into the crisper drawer, believing the cold will preserve it longer. But onions weren't designed for that environment. Their delicate paper skin serves a purpose. It protects them from light, moisture, and spoilage. When placed in the fridge, that natural protection is disrupted inside a refrigerator's cold, damp climate. Onions begin to pull in moisture from the air. Their texture changes. What was once crisp becomes soft and slightly mushy. The flavor turns from sharp and bright to flat or even sour. And the problem doesn't stop at taste. That excess moisture creates the ideal conditions for bacteria and mold to thrive, especially if the onion has already been cut. For older adults, whose immune systems are less robust, that can turn a small culinary habit into a real health risk. There's another subtle but often overlooked issue. Onion contient sulfur compounds. And when stored in tight, enclosed cold spaces like a fridge, those compounds begin to spread. You might not notice at first, but soon your fruit tastes strange. Your butter carries an odd tang, and last night's leftovers are no longer quite right. And for seniors, many of whom already experience reduced senses of taste and smell, this can make eating feel less satisfying, even confusing. It steals a bit of the enjoyment from meals that should bring comfort, but beyond flavor and food safety, there's a deeper loss. Onions are rich in quercetin, a plant compound that offers anti-inflammatory benefits, supports blood flow, and may even help protect cognitive function. Unfortunately, when onions are stored the wrong way, those beneficial compounds degrade more quickly. The very ingredient that should be quietly helping your heart, joints, and brain is now offering less or worse, becoming a source of hidden harm. The good news is, the fix is easy. Store onions the old-fashioned way, in a cool, dry, ventilated space. A wire basket in the pantry, an open shelf out of direct sunlight. Let them breathe. Let them stay whole. And they'll keep doing their job protecting your health, one meal at a time. But not all vegetables thrive in those dry, room temperature spots. Some, in fact, demand the chill of the fridge to stay safe, fresh, and functional, especially for seniors. And when they're left out too long, they don't just lose their benefits, they can quietly become a serious risk. Let's take a closer look at those next. 3 vegetables you must keep cold or risk dangerous health effects. 1. Carrots. Carrots might not grab the spotlight like some trendy superfoods, but for many older adults, they're the quiet backbone of a healthy plate. Sliced into stews, roasted with olive oil, or crunched raw as a snack. They feel familiar, easy, dependable. But what most people don't realize is just how delicate their benefits really are, and how easily those benefits begin to slip away when carrots aren't stored properly. Left at room temperature, carrots quickly begin to lose what makes them so special. You might notice at first in the texture they go from firm and crisp to limp and rubbery, almost overnight. But the real concern runs deeper than crunch. Carrots are a rich source of beta-carotene, the antioxidant your body transforms into vitamin A. And, for anyone over 60, that's not just a bonus, it's a necessity. Vitamin A supports vision, strengthens the immune system, and helps protect the skin from age-related decline. When carrots are exposed to warm air for too long, that beta-carotene starts to break down. The vibrant orange color fades, and along with it, the nutrient power your body relies on. Add in humidity or excess moisture from the environment, and the outer layers become a breeding ground for bacteria and mold. The very vegetable that was supposed to help support your health can suddenly become something that puts it at risk, especially for seniors whose immune defenses aren't as strong as they once were. And here's the deeper cost. It's not just about a soggy carrot. It's about losing the daily support your body quietly depends on. It's about missing out on a simple, accessible food that can help reduce inflammation, protect your eyes, and maintain strength and energy over time. And eventually, when that carrot in the crisper drawer looks sad and unappealing, it gets tossed instead of eaten, and another small opportunity for nourishment disappears. But here's the good news. Carrots are one of the easiest vegetables to preserve. As long as they're treated right, keep them in the refrigerator, preferably in a breathable bag or container that allows just enough air to circulate without drying them out. Stored this way, they'll keep their texture, their nutrients, and their quiet reliability. They'll be ready when you are, offering the same support they always have, just waiting for a chance to serve your health. Still, even sturdy vegetables like carrots have their limits, and not all vegetables are quite so forgiving. Next, we'll turn to a green staple that many seniors eat daily for its reputation as a cancer fighter and anti-inflammatory ally. But when it's left out on the counter, or even just not handled the right way, this common leafy favorite can turn fast, losing its edge and leaving your body unprotected. Let's talk about that next. 2. Leafy greens. Leafy greens have a quiet kind of importance in the diets of many older adults. They're light, easy to prepare, and packed with the kinds of nutrients our bodies crave more and more as the years go on. A handful of spinach, tossed into a scrambled egg, some romaine layered into a sandwich, or a small kale salad at lunch. These aren't just casual choices. They're small daily efforts to protect your heart, your brain, your bones. But here's the thing. Those efforts only work if the greens themselves are stored the right way. Unlike hardier vegetables, leafy greens are fragile. From the moment they're picked, their clock starts ticking. And while they may still look fresh on the outside after a day or two sitting on the counter, something's already changing inside. Without proper refrigeration, their most valuable nutrients, like vitamin K, a folate, and antioxidants such as lutein, begin to break down. And these aren't just bonus vitamins. They're vital. They help with memory, prevent dangerous blood clots, and support healthy eyesight. All things that matter deeply as we age. Even more concerning is the bacterial risk. Warm. The humid environments, especially in busy kitchens, can cause leafy greens to wilt. And that wilting creates the perfect conditions for bacteria like Listeria or E. coli to grow. These aren't just theoretical risks. Food safety outbreaks happen, and the people most likely to suffer serious consequences are seniors. With weakened immune systems, even a mild exposure can lead to days of illness or hospitalization. And there's a quieter cost, too. When greens aren't stored well, they lose their visual appeal. They go limp, turn brown, and stop inviting you to eat them. And if you're someone who already finds it hard to feel hungry in the morning or tired by dinner, That's a problem. When nutritious food becomes unappetizing, it's not just a missed meal, it's a missed opportunity to support your health. But this is something you can fix with ease. Leafy greens belong in the fridge. The crisper drawer is ideal. Wrap them in a paper towel to soak up extra moisture and place them in a breathable bag. Let them breathe. Keep them cool. And they'll stay strong enough to support you in return. Treat them like a medicine. Your body understands a daily prescription in green. Still, leafy greens aren't the only vegetables that suffer when left out. The next one might surprise you. It seems sturdy, dependable, and full of potential. But without the chill of the fridge, it loses its power slowly and silently. Let's take a look at number 3. 3. Broccoli. Broccoli has earned its reputation as a superfood, and it's easy to see why. This humble green vegetable is loaded with nutrients, fiber for digestion, calcium for your bones, and a powerhouse compound called sulforaphane that's been shown to help fight inflammation, support detox, and even lower the risk of certain cancers. For older adults, it's more than just a healthy side dish. It's a quiet ally, working behind the scenes to protect your body as it ages. But here's the part that often gets overlooked. Broccoli only offers these benefits if it's stored the right way. And that means keeping it cold. Despite its tough-looking stems and compact florets, broccoli is more delicate than it appears. From the moment it's harvested, the clock starts ticking. It thrives in cool conditions, like the ones at the grocery store or farm. But once you bring it home, if you leave it on the counter or forget about it for a couple of days, things start to change. Its vibrant green color dulls. The texture becomes limp. And most importantly, the sulforaphane begins to disappear. That's the very nutrient many people seek out broccoli for. And it's highly sensitive to air and heat. As the compound breaks down, so do broccoli's protective powers. And that matters more as we grow older. Our bodies need that extra support, the anti-inflammatory action for achy joints, the fiber for regular digestion, the antioxidants to defend our cells from everyday wear and tear. When broccoli is stored improperly, it's not just less effective, it becomes a lost opportunity. And that's not the end of it. As broccoli loses its structure, it can turn bitter and give off a strong, unpleasant smell. For seniors who may already have a reduced appetite or sensitive digestive system, this turns an otherwise nourishing food into something they want to avoid. And when healthy foods become unappetizing, the risks pile up. Missed nutrients, skipped meals, and a slow decline in the very areas of health broccoli was supposed to support. But the good news is, you can easily protect its benefits. Store broccoli in your refrigerator as soon as you get home. Leave it unwashed, and place it in a loose, breathable produce bag. Don't seal it tightly. It needs a little airflow to stay fresh. Try to use it within a few days, while its flavor is still mild and its nutrients intact. Because when broccoli is treated with care, it does more than fill your plate. It helps your body stay resilient. It supports your clarity, strength, and balance. It gives you the nutrients to keep going. One step ahead of aging's quiet changes. Now that you've seen which vegetables to keep cool and which ones to keep dry, let's bring it all together. In the next part, we'll walk through the simple daily habits that help you eat smarter, feel better, and age with more strength and confidence. The foods you keep may be keeping you back. As we wrap up this conversation, I want to leave you with something more than just tips and facts. I want to leave you with a sense of purpose, something personal, something real. Because the truth is, as we grow older, we begin to realize it's not always the big sweeping decisions that shape how we feel. It's the quiet, everyday choices, the little things we do without thinking, the habits we learned decades ago and never stopped to question. For many of us, the kitchen is filled with comfort, familiar rhythms, trusted routines, and well-worn practices. We peel, we chop, we store, we reach for the same spots on the shelf. But sometimes, it's those very habits, so automatic, so ingrained, that can slowly start to undermine our health without us even noticing. Something as simple as whether a vegetable goes in the fridge or stays out might seem trivial, but in reality, it's a quiet, ongoing conversation with your body. When you store garlic in the wrong place and it loses its healing power, or keep carrots on the counter until their nutrients fade away, those aren't just food storage mistakes. They're missed chances, missed opportunities to nourish the systems that already work harder with age: your joints, your heart, your digestion, your brain. These small missteps may not feel like much today, but over time, they build up. They shape how clearly you think, how deeply you sleep, how smoothly you move through the day. I'm not saying this to alarm you. I'm saying this because I've seen it firsthand. Like you, I grew up believing the fridge was the safest place in the kitchen. Cold meant clean. Cold meant fresh. But it turns out, the truth is a bit more complicated. Cold can protect, but it can also harm, depending on the food. Learning to tell the difference, especially now, is not just helpful. It's necessary. Your body today isn't the body you had 20 or 30 years ago. And that's not something to feel bad about. It's something to honor. This body has carried you through a lifetime of experiences. It deserves to be supported with the right tools. And one of the simplest tools, knowing how to handle your food with a little more care and a lot more understanding. So here's what I invite you to do. Take a few moments today. Open your fridge. Glance through your pantry. Don't just look. Look with intention. Ask yourself, is this where this food truly belongs? Not because that's what your parents did. Not because it's what you've always done. But because you now understand the why behind the where. Shift what needs shifting. Toss what's past its prime. Create a little more order. A little more awareness. These are not dramatic changes, but they are meaningful. Because when you give your broccoli a chance to stay crisp, when you let garlic stay dry and breathe, you're not just preserving food, you're preserving your health. And don't keep this to yourself. Share it. Talk about it with your spouse. Mention it to your adult children. Bring it up with a friend over coffee. You never know who might benefit from a simple reminder that food can either weaken or protect, depending on how we treat it. At the end of the day, this is about care. Real, lasting care. And that's what every one of us deserves at every age. If changing how we store our vegetables can help us stay sharper, steadier, and stronger, then it's a change worth making. Now, I'd love to hear from you. What's one thing you've learned from today that you plan to apply in your own kitchen? Drop a comment with 1 if something clicked for you, or 0 if you're still unsure. Either way, your voice matters. And if you found this helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more conversations like this one. Here's to living with intention, clarity, and care on your own terms.